I know that some of you have some very strong, very negative opinions of Jason. He's a whole fucking red flag. He is a walking, talking red flag. And he's got a lot of issues, you know? He's flawed. He's genuinely a good person, and I love that man, and I will forever have his back. I will forever be his ride or die. And, you know, what's another 8 to 10 months?
I want to preface this video by saying the content that you guys are about to watch does revolve around topics including domestic violence, addiction, and narcissistic abuse. If these are topics that could trigger you, please skip this video and hopefully I see you in the next one. I've never been a fan of a one-sided story, no matter the situation. And Jessica's argument to that is if you are abusive emotionally or physically, your voice does not deserve to be heard. However, I disagree. And so does the court of law. Everyone's voice does matter, and everyone's side of the story matters as well. No matter the situation, whether you are guilty or you're innocent, it doesn't matter. You have the right for your voice to be heard and to tell your side of the story just as much as you have the right to remain silent. Because this continues to unfold so publicly, I think that people deserve to see all sides of it. I'm not here to say who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, because in my personal opinion, there is none of either. I personally do not believe that this situation is as simple as pointing a finger at one or maybe two people at this point, and Jason and Reese are the official bad guys, and that's just the end of the story. I believe that this is a very long line of toxic, abusive, narcissistic behavior from all sides. And I refuse to be told that that is me victim blaming Jessica Kent, because I have said 1,000 times, and I will say 1,000 more, just because I believe that Jessica is a part of the problem here, that does not mean that she deserves to be physically or mentally abused. In fact, no one in this situation deserves that, nor anyone in the world. Quick little disclaimer before we get into this. I am not a Jessica Kent hater, despite what she or anyone else may say. I do not hate that girl. I'm also not here to care about who she's married to or who she's sleeping with or any and all above. I'm only here to put all sides of the story out there in a compiled, concise way so that you, the audience who is following this situation, can see all perspectives, because it does matter, no matter what Jessica or anyone else says. At the end of the day, I wish nothing more but for all parties involved in this to be able to really actually go get some professional help, start working on their healing journeys, and create healthier environments, not only for themselves, but for their loved ones as well. There are millions of people around the world that are currently in an abusive cycle like this. I will be leaving some information in the description down below. If you or someone you know is currently going through something similar, please consider reaching out. You deserve happiness and a healthy, safe environment. With all that being said, I want to take you guys back to last year. A lot of my coverage was actually about Jason Forrester himself and his behavior online and off. If anyone covered the content that Jessica was putting on a public platform about her and Reese's relationship, Jason would go around harassing them, threatening them, being extremely aggressive, sending emails, blocked caller ID, all up in the comments section. It was really concerning behavior then, and now it makes a lot more sense to me. But if you called that out to any degree, Jessica would defend him, saying, yeah, he has issues and yes, he needs some help, but he's a great guy. He's super protective. He loves her and the girls, and she's never felt safer.
He's a whole fucking red flag. He is a walking, talking red flag. And he's got a lot of issues, you know. He's flawed. He's genuinely a good person, and I love that man, and I will forever have his back. I will forever be his ride or die.
Fast forward to about 4 months ago when Jason got busted in Jessica's driveway for not going and turning himself in as he should have. Again, Jessica made a video defending him, saying yes, he needed help and he shouldn't have done that, but he's an amazing guy. He is so good to her and the girls, and again, she's never felt safer. Mind you, during this whole process, Jessica never publicly stated that she and Jason were together. However, Jason had spilled the beans on that a long time ago and said that Jessica didn't want people to know because it would look really bad for her brand due to his affiliation with the gang and his drug use. When it comes to Jason being busted at Jessica's house, she had explanations for that too.
He was given a self-surrender date back in June. Or wait, no, maybe June 28th is when the warrant was issued. Yeah, he didn't self-surrender though. He said, hey, didn't you still want to move stuff out of storage? And I'm like, yeah, but that shit can wait. Don't even worry about it. You can't tell him anything. So he came here and he loaded things up from my storage unit for me. At 1 p.m., he comes to the house with another load of stuff. He wanted me to have all of my stuff from storage because those rooms are almost done. Like one area is gonna be a little gym, the other area is gonna be like a little chill spot. Even though I told him don't fucking worry about it, he worried about it because he can't tell him anything. I know that some of you are probably judging because Jason was on my property when he got arrested. Any one of his friends could have had their door kicked in. Any one of us. Well, why didn't he just turn himself in?
He was scared to. He's in pain. He doesn't want... It's a scary thing to turn yourself in, especially when he was so worried about me, in so much pain from his hands, because he desperately needs hand surgery.
It just felt like there was always something. He felt like there was always something that he had to do.
But none of them included the fact that she had married him the day before and wanted him to stay at home so that they could have a blessed wedding night? ? Jessica Kent has a pattern of not being honest with her audience. And I agree with Jessica when she says that we only see about 5% of her life. In my personal opinion, that only is more concerning because the 5% we do hear about and see is really toxic. With the new year ringing in loud and clear, not only were we told about the fact that Jessica and Jason had got married before he got busted.
I was supposed to turn myself in on the 21st of June, but when I called my PO and made sure, I was like, fuck it, one more day wouldn't hurt me. Next day, we were going to turn me into the federal building downtown. We were in A-Town and had to drive to the city, so it was an emotional drive. We were coming up to the exit to my house and she said, there is no way I cannot see you in 8 months. You are the love of my life and the last guy I ever wanted to be with, so let's get married. I'm like, you for real? She said, yes, I'm sure. So I get off the Maybrook exit and we go to clerk's office and Jess fills out all the paperwork and I'm filming just because I'm messing with her and she pays for it and we get the license. Well, we just made the cutoff time, so she's like, where can we get married? She looks up online how to become an ordained minister and I go to the truck and get us all lunch on the way to my house. And we spring the idea to my cousin Joker. Jess gets him to fill the forms out online and she pays for it. And he got the number and we got married on Bud Street. And I'm like, I'm not going to jail on my wedding night. So we went on the run. We didn't tell anyone because we were going to remarry when I got out. I was going to ask the girls if I could marry their mother. And if they said yes, we were going to do it. We were going to be together until the buster came around. But
just a few short weeks ago, Jessica Kent officially announced her new relationship with a new character, Jeremy, aka Burner 420. For those of you who are not familiar with who he is another prison reform and recovering advocate influencer. To be fair, I do not have a lot of opinions on him yet. He is still very fresh to this whole situation. But what I will say is he not only came in hot, but he wasted zero time giving his opinion on the whole situation based off of Jessica Kent's side of the story.
1 year ago, you guys were posting on Reddit about how big of a piece of shit Jason is and how much you guys hate him. Now a year later, you guys are all on his coattail talking about how great of a dude he is. This dude literally has a charge for chopping up a body and getting rid of it. But he's a great dude, right? And he has multiple domestic violence charges, which means he ain't new to hitting women. I've never had none of that. It ain't no secret that Jess is very aware of the mistakes she made by involving herself with Jason. And she spent the last year of her life trying to fix that mistake. The more she tries to separate herself from Jason, the harder and more violent he becomes.
All of this is happening on YouTube and TikTok very publicly, which again opens it up to criticism. And it was definitely the catalyst to Jason Forrester now speaking out while he is behind bars via email and phone calls with other creators. But instead of yapping my jaws and telling you all about it, why not watch it, shall we? All of their perspectives in one place at one time. I really hope you guys like roller coasters because this one is a bumpy ride.
Everyone wants to talk about Jason, but please understand, there are things I cannot talk about right now. I don't care what he's saying from prison. The fact that y'all want to prop him up and give a violent, abusive man a platform after he is literally openly admitting to physically hurting me.
All I'm doing is showing people we were together and still were together up until the buster showed up. Have I not just been telling the truth about everything I said so far? Did I say how many times you put your hands on me? How you threw a glass off the back of my head? How you broke my thumb even though you know I was in real bad pain? How you hit me in the face with a computer mouse when Mindy was here? How I had to explain to the girls why I had a black eye after I came home from rehab? Because I have not said shit about that. How you cheated on me with Judd? Unlike Judd, I have proof from your own emails. You want to look good to everyone, but for real, no one is perfect. And people would rather know the truth so they can relate better to you. We are all fucked up and have flaws. I don't think I even know what a healthy relationship would look like if it fell out of the sky. And if you've been in an abusive relationship before, when your girl hits you, you just walk it off. But when she keeps hitting you because you didn't stop her the first time, and it goes on and on, something is going to give one day. It was very wrong of me to hit her. I regretted it as soon as it happened, and I've said I'm sorry 100 times, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Did she hit me after that one time? Yes. Did I ever hit her back? No. I did not ask him if Jessica was abusive towards him. I just simply said, is there anything that you want to tell Jessica based on knowing that Jessica has gotten a new boyfriend and moved him in? And he started talking about this abuse. And so what this tells me is that Jessica is a violent person as well.
The way that Jason is he moves very fast. And if you can't keep up with what he's doing at the pace in which he's moving, instantly he's screaming at you and cutting you down, and he's just really, really aggressive and fucking mean. Just straight up mean. However, that's like the complexity of him, because he could do the worst shit under the sun and people will still be like, yeah, he kidnapped me and like threw me in the trunk, but he's a really good dude. I was in jail with a lot of women that knew him from the free world, and they would say shit like that to me. Like, yeah, he kidnapped me and like threw me in the trunk, but like, great guy. I think that's Stockholm Syndrome. He's not a bad person.
What? What the fuck?
However, he is very manipulative, very aggressive, very violent, and very addicted to substances. He has spent his whole life in that world, in street life, and using dope, selling dope, and all that stuff. And, you know, for a while, I really genuinely thought that he would get sober.
But that's not my journey, you know, that's his journey. He really manipulated me into believing that I needed him to be safe from Reese. In December of 2022, I reached out to him finally because I was scared one day. I got scared because of a situation with my ex. So Jason comes back into our lives in December, and he feels really bad because I didn't tell him what my ex was doing. He had no idea how bad it got, and he felt like he had abandoned me when I needed him, but he was in a relapse and it's not his responsibility to keep me safe. He would create problems and then be the hero and solve that problem. Like, it was just crazy. The reality of it is he was taking advantage at every single turn. I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I think the best decision I could have ever made was to distance myself from him. I think that he made Reese worse. I think that he made me worse. I think he took advantage and played both sides. A lot of the shit that he's saying is either blatant lies or half-truths and manipulation. The best decision I could have ever made was to distance myself.
You can't drag me through the mud. You went in there acting all this rah-rah shit, and now you want to drag me through the mud? Come on, that doesn't make sense.
Right. That's why I thought it was important for the emails to get put out, because of the 7-minute video that she made, that she put on TikTok and YouTube, and the last 4 minutes of it is her burying you.
The whole thing with the burner dude, when she put him on the phone, I said, look, I'm not going to call no more because I'm not having some dude answer the phone. She said she'd never do that to me. This dude answers the phone. So he gets to talking, I get to shooting at him, he gets upset. And he's like, you cannot be friends with her because you guys crossed that line and dated.
I know that this is not easy content to digest. Trust me, it has been extremely triggering and difficult to follow for the last 2+ years. But in the same breath, due to the fact that it does continue to play out very publicly for the whole world to see, I know that many of us have been really confused because we're hearing so many different sides of the story. So I just wanted to take the time to put it all out there in a concise way. That way you guys can see it all. I hope that this helps in some way for you guys to really see what the truth is here. My opinion has not changed a lot from last year. I'm not here to try to redeem anyone or make anyone the good guy in this situation. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think that all parties involved have a lot to work through. They have a lot of issues, and I genuinely hope that they get the help that they need and that one day they can look back at all of this and actually learn something and grow from it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hopeful because last night Jessica did post a video that seemed somewhat like a breakthrough. I am gonna add some clips of that in here too because I do think it is important. I'm not saying that Jessica took all the accountability that she needs to take. It's not my place to say or judge one way or the other. It's her life and she's going to figure it out in her own time. But I will say that it was the most accountability I've ever seen her take. The truth of the matter is I think a lot of us have not been trying to come from a harmful place, but just a place of, hey, you know, it's important for you to own your own mistakes in this instead of pointing fingers at everyone else, because she can't change Jason. She can't change Reese. She can't change what lifestyles they want to live, their behaviors, or any and all above, but she can change hers. And when it comes to the toxic, narcissistic, abusive behavior, does appear to be somewhat of a pattern for Jessica. Last night's video did give me a little bit of hope, and my hopes is that this will be the last time that I cover Jessica Kent's antics and things going on in her life as well. I really don't dislike Jessica whatsoever. I was a massive supporter of hers until I just couldn't anymore. The behavior that she started to showcase online, added with all of her personal information being put out there on forefront as well, it just became way too much and very concerning. I think this kind of content is triggering for many of us. But my hope has always been that Jessica and all the other parties involved as well would figure it out, focus on working on the issues, and stop making it such a public debacle. So we're gonna wrap it up with Jessica's final words, hopefully, fingers crossed y'all, on this whole situation. Let's keep it classy, but I'd love to hear what y'all think in the comments down below. I appreciate you all for watching this one, and until the next one, bye y'all.
So what do you think our big problem is right now?
I mean, I got into a situationship with Jason last year, a situationship I didn't want to be in, and that's why I didn't come to you guys and tell you guys, hey, I'm seeing this person. I knew that it was an unhealthy cycle, and by the time, like, it all happened so fast, you know, and by the time I realized, like, oh shit, this is not good, it was kind of too late, if that makes sense. And I realized, like, oh, I did the thing where I wasn't healed, wasn't ready, I'm not in a good place, and I got with someone, this sounds stupid, but kind of on accident.
If you were miserable in this relationship, okay, they like you're claiming you are, why so many months after that you're still in communication with him, still texting him, still talking to him on emails, still telling him that you love him?
Because he was my friend first. For a very long time. I loved Jason. I did. I loved him as a person. I thought he was a good person, and I cared about him deeply, and I have for 13 years. And my friendship and my love for him, that is why I kept in communication with him. That's why I, said, I don't want to be in this with you, but I still have your back. I got you. I'll help you out. I'll still put money on your books. I'm not going anywhere. And, I kind of got into a habit over the past 13 years that when something was wrong, I kind of ran to him for advice. That just wasn't the best decision on my part. And, I've just recognized that I attract certain people, and that is kind of a me thing. That's my fault. It's my responsibility to get negative people or toxic people out of my life and then recognize why they were in my life to begin with. I knew that this was not something that I wanted to be in, and I expressed that to him so many times too, and he acts like he went to prison and I left him out of the clear blue sky, and that's just not true. He would go through my things all night long when I'd be asleep, and he would just be doing off the wall shit, calling people out of my phone at all hours of the night, doing things, on social media that I didn't agree with, that he didn't even talk to me about. Sending our mutual friend to Reese's house was another example. Like, I didn't okay that. It's like, this is what he's doing, this is what Reese did, now Reese is arrested, and I just have to adjust. When
you met Jason, he tried to tell you that he wasn't in a gang anymore and he was not active?
Yeah, like, it was always said that, he always told me that he was just retired, and I never thought anything of it because he's not, like, running around the street, like, gang banging or anything like that. That's not the situation. But slowly over time, I did meet more of his people, and I love a lot of his family and, his people. A lot of them do certain things within the community, and they do charity events, and they do positive things. So that's what I was hearing when I was first spending time with him. And nothing ever seemed crazy. I'm not a gang member. I'm not in a gang. And to him and his people, it just truly means family. So it was out of love for them that I, did certain things, like made shirts or, whatever. I got a tattoo. That is literally just love. It's just out of love. I'm like mourning the loss of my friend when it comes to Jason. Like, I lost my friend. I thought he was someone that he's not. And I'm even more mourning the loss of his family. I don't want to cry. Stupid. I thought that his family was my family. But I can't be involved in anything that is negative or that's going to hurt my recovery or my mental health or any of it. And it just is really fucking hard, You're so patient with me and so honest with me, and like, you've helped me so much, so I'm probably not ready. You're probably not ready to be in a relationship either. We didn't plan for this. It just happened, and this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life, and I'm hopeful, I'm not going to make 57 videos about you if we don't work out, I promise.
Taylor Swift?
I'm not the Taylor Swift of YouTube. I'm never going to say Jason's name again. I'm never going to say Reese's name again. I'll talk about my abuse story in a vague way. I will talk about what I've gone through and what I've learned from it, but this is the last time any of y'all will get a reaction out of me. Do I think that I should have posted those videos? Probably not, in retrospect.
What videos?
Like the docuseries. I've learned also throughout this whole thing that explaining yourself and having to show proof and receipts, that is just a trauma response. I wasn't believed for so long in my last relationship. I'm like, I know that you did this. Here's proof that you did this. And I would just be gaslit. But I also think because Reese is so narcissistic, like, he's a covert narcissist to a fucking T, I think that along the way I have picked up toxic traits. And I think that I need to fix that, and I have a long way to go. I really, truly do. And if you're still riding with me and you've made it this long, I love and appreciate you guys so much. Just thank you. Thank you for being here and not giving up on me and doing your best to tell me that you're worried and try to hold me accountable, and just know that I hear you, truly hear you, and I'm gonna get all the way better.